Breez and I'm back. What you said, I'm back. Say it again, girl. I'm back. Hey, y'all. I'm back. For those of you that are new to my channel, I am Lady Breez. I am a wife and a mother of 4. And in this video, I'm going to be talking about a few things that help me when my children are overstimulated and having a meltdown. For those of you that don't know, I have 2 children on the autism spectrum, and meltdowns are pretty common around here. Welcome to my world. They literally have meltdowns multiple times a day, every single day. It is not easy. It is not fun, but somebody has to do it. So if you want to know how, subscribe to this channel and stay tuned. So the first item I'm going to talk about is sensory bottle. So a few years ago, when my children first got diagnosed with autism, I wasn't in a position financially to be able to afford the things that the therapist said that they needed. And with me having 2 children on the spectrum, it was double the price. So I tried to look for ways for me to improvise, but yet and still give my children what the therapist felt like they needed. So I actually made these. I have a video on my channel showing how I made these, but they were so convenient. Basically, what I do was when they were having a meltdown and they were overstimulated and things like that, I would sit in the floor with them and I would shake this bottle and I would point it to the ceiling and I would show them the different things in the bottle that sparkled in the light. So in this bottle, we have like red and gold glitter. There's a couple of moons and flowers and stars and all that kind of stuff in here. And they really were into like shapes and things like that. So it was really, really convenient and it really, really worked. The next thing that that has kind of benefited my children was these. These are water beads, Orbeez, whatever you want to call them. I actually purchased this container at the Dollar Tree for $1. And this is what they look like. I got these at Walmart. I think they were about $3.88. And I think it was like 1,000 of them in a bag or something like that. If I can find them, I will link them in the description box down below. But basically what I would do is if one of my children were like crying, and generally whenever my daughter has a meltdown, she cries and sometimes she rocks back and forth. And it's almost like she can't contain herself. And so I would bring these out and I would sit in the floor with her and I would let her stick her hands in and pick them up, and I would put my hands on the outside of her hands and I would help her rub them together between her fingers. Basically, we would just get a handful and rub them between our hands, and I would tell her to close her eyes, and I would kind of just help her do this to calm herself down. It is so calming and so soothing. My children actually really, really like these. The third thing that I'm going to talk about today is a sensory bin. So originally, when the therapist told me that a sensory bin would be beneficial for my children, what I did was I received WIC. And my children don't eat like the rice, the beans, and different things like that I get on the WIC. They don't eat those. So I asked the therapist and she said that I could make a bin out of these items since they weren't going to eat them. What I did was I got these little containers from Dollar Tree, and then I also got this measuring spoon. And like I said, because I couldn't afford 2 sensory bins, I just got 2 containers and 1 spoon. Come here, MJ. I'm going to demonstrate with my son. Get in. So generally, I would just let them grab it and rub their hands together in it. He absolutely loves that. And so as you can see, he's pretty much enjoying himself. He's pretty much enjoying himself. He's just filling up the container with the items. And then with him, once he fills it up, he doesn't necessarily need it in his hands. He just likes to watch himself pour it back in the bucket. I don't know, something about watching the items fall back in the bucket is therapeutic to him. And so, yeah, it can get a little messy, don't get me wrong. But generally, if you put like, I put like a towel down on the floor and, all done? And that's generally just what he does. I usually just put a towel down on the floor and put the container on the towel and let them play like that. So whenever they're done, I just fold the towel up and shake it in the trash. But yeah, so he's starting to make a mess. The next thing that I do with my children are pressures. And so one time he was having a meltdown in the midst of therapy, and they said to try pressures with him. And so basically what I do is I take his hand and I take his arm and I push together like that. And then I do it again at the elbow and at the shoulder. And then they told me I can do the knees and the feet. So with his foot, I generally just hold his legs straight and then like that. And they generally like it. Like if they're having a really bad meltdown and I sit them down beside me and I just start doing this, they stop focusing on whatever it is that's causing the meltdown and they begin to focus on, okay, I kind of like this. This is different. And so it really helps. Another thing that I do, he doesn't really like it, but my daughter does, is apply pressure hugs. So generally I will hold them. Okay, so we're going to try this again because she generally likes the hugs. My son is not really into them. But what I do is I wrap my arms around her and I leave her arms down. I press her into my chest, and while I'm hugging her, I also grab her arms and squeeze and go up and down her arms, as well as hugging her at the same time. And then I turn her around and do the other side. And then afterwards, I kind of just hold her. And then whenever I feel like she's calming down, I asked her, are you all better? Yes or no?
Yes.
And then she's able to tell me. In the beginning, this was kind of hard because she was completely nonverbal. Now she is verbal. She's able to talk. Her vocabulary is not as broad as I would like, but it is improving, so I'm grateful for that. These are just some of the things that have helped my children. I really hope that these things help you as well. That's going to be all for this video. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to my channel. You guys, it is absolutely free to subscribe, so make sure you head on over there and press that subscribe button. And I'll see you guys in the next video.